told me not to have a lot of papers, as if having a lot of papers is important tonight. These candidates and their campaign staffs have agreed to the following rules.
And I, too, want to avoid any personal attacks. I promise not to bring up your singing. So
I promise not to sing.
Okay. Good.
There's no magic bullet, Secretary Cheney, in this question to you. No magic bullets to solve the problems of public.
Al Gore and I have committed $170 billion. I want to assure the American people that the American military is the best trained, best equipped, most powerful force in the world, and that Al Gore and I will do whatever it takes to keep them that way. It's not right, and it's not good for our military to run them down, essentially, in the midst of a partisan political debate.
Deterioration and overextension of America's armed forces.
The administration has, in fact, in this area, failed in a major responsibility. We've seen a reduction in our forces far beyond anything that was justified by the end of the Cold War. At the same time, we've seen a rapid expansion of our commitments around the world as troops have been sent hither and yon. Testimony just last week by the Joint Chiefs of Staff before the House Armed Services Committee that pointed out a lot of these problems.
Bernie, this is a very important question.
Would you support the effort of House Republicans who want legislation to restrict?
Now that is a very happy ending to a terrible story, and it's the end of a reign of terror. If that is not confirmed and does not happen, then I think the United States, with its European allies, ought to do everything we can to encourage the people of Serbia to do exactly what they've been doing over the last few days, to rise up and end this reign of terror and bring themselves, by Milosevic, and bring themselves back into the family of nations where they will be welcomed by the United States and others.
We want to do everything we can to support Mr. Milosevic's departure. Certainly, though, that would not involve committing U.S. troops.
But
I can see my wife, and I think she's thinking, gee, I think if you asked most people in America today that famous question that Ronald Reagan asked, are you better off today than you were 8 years ago, most people would say yes. And I'm pleased to see, Dick, from the newspapers that you're better off than you were 8 years ago, too.
And most of it, and I can tell you, Joe, that the government had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Understand.
thank you, sir.